Beware that the live stream is up and running.
Michelle, is there a separate way to get in via phone? I have someone trying to join via phone. Kathy Ponce.
Yes, the phone option is in the invite.
Okay. So she should have gotten it. Okay. Okay. Hello, Micah and Michael.
Hi, Christine. How's it going?
Going well. How are you?
Great.
Awesome. Let's see. Michelle, Laura Oakley had talked to me about adding, I guess she had talked to Tim about adding Brian Bodine into this subcommittee.
Yeah.
And now that we've switched, I sent an email to confirm with Trey Trainer. Haven't heard back yet. Have you heard if that's approved?
No, I did see in Trey's email that he is in DC until tomorrow, so he's gonna be
Yeah.
kind of in and out.
Okay.
Now, since he's on the full committee, he's welcome to hop into the Zoom and observe.
Okay.
I don't know how fluid the subcommittee appointments are though, so I can't really speak to whether or not he can participate.
Okay, yeah, I don't know either, so I was just kind of trying to, it was kind of an in-between stage, so thank you.
I'm gonna assume the person entering right now from the phone is Kathy.
Yeah,
Kathy, is that you?
person on the phone, is that you, Kathy?
I'll ask her to unmute.
Oh,
Rolla, whoever that is.
okay.
Hello?
Hey, Kathy, is that you?
Yeah, it's me.
Awesome, okay.
Phew, that was hard.
Oh. Alright, I'm gonna. Hey, Kathy, is that you?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm gonna mute you because I think you got the live stream on the background, so.
Okay. Okay, so I know I saw that Melinda was gonna reboot her computer to try and get in, so we'll give her just a minute to come in. So thank you everyone for coming and for being a part of this subcommittee. I guess if we want to, let's see. I know a little bit about Kathy and Melinda, but Michael, so what is your background? Have you done this before? Where are you at?
Yeah, so I have not been on a committee like this before for the RPT convention. So I come from Collin County here in Texas, so in the Dallas area here in SD8. And so I've been really heavily involved in the politics here in Collin County GOP since about 2021. And moving on there. So, but by trade, my profession, I'm a nonprofit executive during my day job and fundraiser during the day job, and love to be a part of this and just help kind of move things around. So
Awesome, very cool. I guess I should have gone first. So I was kind of waiting for Melinda, but I have been working in election integrity since 2015. So I was actually working with an organization who did block walking, and we were working on something in the TRWD. I used to live up in Fort Worth and discovered some massive mail-in ballot harvesting up there. And the organization I worked with, Direct Action Texas, kind of switched over to doing election integrity. And so I've been doing that ever since with a short move into Texas for vaccine choice for a little while. So we did that, I did that, and I have not been in a committee like this before. I haven't been in one of these committees before, but I have visited the committees and testified to the committees and done all of that. And I've been getting a lot of help from Andy Eller, who had this position before me. So been doing a lot of that. Looks like I have somebody who's waiting. Okay, Melinda's waiting to get in. And I guess there's people in the YouTube chat. I don't know how we see that or if we respond to that or how that works.
You just run your meeting. Don't worry about it.
Okay, all right. Gotcha. Okay, so let's see. Oh, Melinda, we got you in here now. Okay, so awesome. So I was just kind of starting with everyone sort of introducing themselves just so we can kind of get to know each other better. And just to see if you guys have who's done this before, who hasn't done this before. So we started with Michael. So who would like to go next?
Go.
Go ahead, Melinda.
Okay, I'm Melinda Roberts. I'm in Bear County. I have chaired Bear County election integrity for about the past 6 years. And I was on platform committee last year and happy to be here with you.
All right, awesome. Happy to have you.
Thank you.
Okay, let's see. Micah?
Yes, name is Micah Farmer and Senate District 14 out in Austin, Texas, Travis County. So I grew up in Fort Worth, but I've been living in Austin for the past 2.5 years. Went to Texas State University, so kind of feels like I've been in Central Texas for much longer, but this is my first time at convention, first time as a delegate, first time on a committee, but I'm looking forward to it.
Okay, awesome. Happy to have you. Kathy? Are you able to unmute?
Okay, there we go. So my name is Kathy Hans. I'm from Ellis County, SD 22. This is my first time on the committee, but I have been watching the platform committee for, gosh, like 6 conventions now, and I have testified and been a part of that process. And my passion is the state legislature. I watch the state legislature like a hawk and helping to try and get good conservative candidates elected. And I look forward to working with everyone to get a good, strong conservative platform.
Okay, awesome. That sounds fantastic. Did all of y'all receive the proposed rules I sent over? Yes?
Yes.
Yes, okay. All right, so any thoughts on those? I know that I will say that I've heard, maybe 3 minutes is too long. I know some of the things we probably won't figure out, and obviously we're not going to vote on these right now. But because we'll vote when we get there, but I wanted to just kind of cover a few things and discuss a few things beforehand so we can get as much done before we get there, so we can just be like, okay, we've all seen the rules, let's just vote them in. Hopefully everyone is okay with that. Please let me know if you're not. But any thoughts on those proposed rules? Anyone? Okay. It sounds like we pretty much have a consensus. Do we think that and we can alter, like, when we get there, if we realize that 2 hours is too much or too little or something like that, we can change that around. I know that we've had a change in our platform chair. So if y'all didn't see that email go through, so things are still a little bit up in the air. So give me just a second here while I answer something. Um, um,
Bye.
okay. So, oh, there's Brian. Okay. We did let you in. Okay. So I wasn't sure if you were gonna have to just observe but so, because technically, since we did have the change in chair, things are still a little bit up in the air as far as, what I had talked to Laura Oakley about, she was helping Tim Davis, was that we would hear, since we basically have two subcommittees, that we would hear national defense and foreign affairs on Monday, and that we would take up elections or election integrity and government operations on Tuesday. And I figured that would be the better way to do it, since we have so many more resolutions and more things to go through in elections, that would give us a longer day, since we're not starting till later. Any thoughts on that? And obviously, and again, all of these will be official when we get there, but I just want to get some things out ahead of time. Does that sound good to everybody?
Yep.
Okay, awesome. So y'all are a pretty amiable group here. I figured you would be, but so we're still, kind of gonna hear on that, if that's still gonna be the thing. And so we'll confirm that. I would like to try to kind of save time, and I spoke, like I said, I spoke with Andy Eller and just kind of got some ideas on what he did last time. And he said that what he had done is he basically took the resolutions as chair, he took the resolutions, kind of wrote up what he would like the platform to look like, sent it to the committee, and then we would kind of go through those changes as we go, as opposed to going, plank by plank and discussing each resolution. I would just present y'all with what the platform language would be, and then we discuss it from there. How do y'all feel about that? That sound okay?
I think that's a good way to start. Yeah.
Okay. That way, because so I was on the editing, I was watching the editing, meeting last night, and I was looking at the number of resolutions that we have, and it's something like 600 something for elections and election integrity and government, and the national defense is another 300. So I'm trying to save as much time for the group as possible, so we're not there until midnight. I will be if we need to be, but I'd rather not. So whatever can sort of get those things through, I think would be really helpful. I'm sorry, my phone started to ring. Are there any, I would kind of like to know, are there any particular, priorities that y'all are really looking at, really passionate about, that you want to make sure, definitely get in there? Are there any things that are like your pet issues that you want to kind of, maybe talk about now? And here's the thing, like, so the Zoom, and hopefully Michelle will let me know if I'm doing something that's out of order, but as far as I understand, we can, discuss, we're just not voting on anything. So I'm just curious, like, what y'all's sort of, your priorities are. Anyone? Everyone's so quiet.
Hey, Christine, I'd like to start.
Sure.
So I'm the treasurer of Young Republicans of Texas, also the chapter president of Travis County Young Republicans, and our org has passed out a resolution. All our members to the Senate District Committees, essentially calling for mass deportations of all illegals in the U.S. And that's been passed through my Senate district. I saw there's already a lot of verbiage that's really similar to that was on the platforms for 2024, and then we just want to make sure that we can probably make a couple of fine adjustments to it and ultimately get it hammered away.
Okay.
Yeah. And I believe there was a few other things that I know 2024 we called for the repeal of the H-1B visa program. I think we were going to add the repeal of the OPT visas
Mhm.
as well. And those were the two on the top of my head that I can recall.
Okay. What else?
So I can go next.
Okay, go ahead, Michael.
Yeah, so I think a couple of things that I know are really important for me and even for Collin County is some of it's about just election integrity and making sure that we have strong elections and moving towards paper ballots as much as we can. I mean, we've done that here in Collin County already. And then hand counting recounts and things along those lines as well too. So I know
Okay.
that's one. And then another one that we do is just around state and local bond elections, particularly local state, city and school board bond elections, and making it more difficult and more clear for school boards, especially school boards that are doing bonds. I know we've had a history here in Collin County with just a lot of with school districts that are now creating PACs. Their board members, and they're making PACs that are then they're getting the local construction companies that are making the money off the bonds to donate thousands of dollars there, and then they can go and they market the bond, the pro bond language and the pro bond stuff, which then makes it really hard, even harder to dismantle or to defeat those bond elections. So I know that we
Yeah.
submitted a couple of planks along that line just to strengthen that up to make sure that we don't get that and to tighten those up to prevent that from happening.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I also think that, we need to have our bond elections need to be in November. I think that we also need to have a minimum percentage of people voting in those elections in order for them to pass. I've seen, I mean, we have some of the language already there, and then I've seen, other resolutions too to that effect to get those through because you're right, there's a lot of deceptive practices. One of the other things is that, when you have, say, a hospital district and they want to pass a giant bond and they say, we're going to have our election, they hold their own election and they hold it at the hospital so that all the people that work at the hospital can vote and nobody else knows that it's even happening, right?
Right.
So yeah, we do have some serious issues there for sure. So I'm with you there.
Yep.
Anyone else?
Ban taxpayer-funded lobbying.
Ah, yes.
I know that is a big, big issue, not only in my county, but in my Senate district. And so I'm looking at the planks right now on that. And so,
Yes, there's quite a few.
yeah.
So I think with that, we'll just be looking at, like what is the best language, what is the most, robust. I'm going to be looking at that. And then y'all obviously, we want to make sure we have something that is really good there. So that is clearly something that a lot of, Senate and county conventions put forward and something that people, really want done. So, and we have not gotten it done despite the number of times that we've put it forward. So great. With you on that.
So Christina, I have a need for some clarity on something.
Sure.
I told you I'd been drowning here in Bear County with stuff.
I know.
Was there so I know in our SD we took all of the resolutions and we compared them to the existing platform. If it already existed, it didn't pass. If it anyway, we know there's also resolutions turned in that those weren't filtered in that way.
Yes.
So has somebody done that? Because we mentioned hand counting and 228 is hand counting. Do you know if any of that's already been done?
Right. So a lot of that has not been done yet. That's something that I'm going to be doing as I go through and, change up the language because I do know that, yeah, our county was really careful as well to not have things that were already in the platform. But obviously a lot of people did put things that were already in the platform. And some of those are also they want to change the language and, exactly how it's written. So some of those I'll say, yeah, they, were necessary if you wanted to change the language and get them across. But you're right, there are quite a few that have not yet been filtered. What I did, so that initial spreadsheet that everybody was sharing, what I did is I went through all of section 8 and section 9, and I pulled out all of the ones that seemed to not pertain to our section. So I basically just took out the ones that, probably better fit in business and commerce or, state affairs or things like that. And so I went in and moved those because it's really easy for things to just be put in the catch-all of government operations. And so I pulled a lot of stuff out of there, and some things out of national defense, and pulled some other things out so that they could resort, which, by the way, if you are looking at that sheet, they're going to resort it on, I think, tonight. But I did create that separate one that I shared with y'all that's a little bit, that's cleaned up, where I took all of those out that I thought were better suited for other areas. Now we can talk about things like the grid, because I know there were a lot that were on in national security for the grid, but we have a whole other section of the platform that talks about the grid. So if we want to talk about the grid as it pertains to national security, we can do that. But I think we could also just add those to, the grid section. So it's kind of like, and I would like to get y'all's opinion on, I feel like it's sort of redundant if we talk about securing the grid in one section and then we have securing the grid in another section. So, and I think that's a little bit, yeah, redundant is probably the best word. Then having to, so I moved those out. I do know some people think, well, we should address it in there again, but I'm kind of like, if we have it already, we don't need to say it again. So I'm open to adding a little bit of that language in there, or having like cybersecurity for, the grid, this other thing, and this other thing, and this other thing, like a list of, a bunch of things, but not having a whole other section on the grid. So that's kind of what I did there. That was my thought process as I was going through and pulling things out, was to keep things that just really affected, the actual government operations and, the elections, national security, and foreign affairs, and, making sure that all kind of stuck together. So you're right. There's a lot of extra in there that, we already have. And like, there's even some in there where they still submitted it even if there was no change. And I know we even had in, my county, or my SD county, whatever, Williamson's part of SD 24, that there was talk of like, well, we should still put it in there just so we show that we still support it. But, even if it's already in the platform. And I'm like, well, that gives us a lot of extra work, but I get it. If they just want to reaffirm, but those we can, look through pretty quickly, because there's a few of those that are like, we reaffirm this point. So, and there's other things too that there's things in there that we got past last legislative session. So we don't need to keep,
Right.
language in there that says we direct the House to pass these things if it's already passed. So that's some of the cleanup that we're going to be doing. And also, I know there's a lot of cleanup in national defense, because some of those things, because the changing conflicts, because we have a section on, Israel and the Middle East and all that, and some of those conflicts have changed, and so we may need to change the language. So we'll be working on that, and that's where, when I had originally talked to Laura, that she had suggested bringing Brian in because we have such a heavy lift of having an extra person. And he did the national defense section last time. So just kind of as a consultant, and, possibly until I get confirmation, and then possibly actually a member of our subcommittee. So that's something I got to get cleared through Chairman Trainer. But So that's kind of the idea of, I'm gonna come in and of course, y'all look through all the different things and think about what you would want. I'm gonna try and get, kind of my version of at least elections finished tomorrow so that I can get it to y'all so you can look at it over the weekend before we go. And that way you can kind of have an idea before we walk in. And national defense as well. So I'll try and get those to you as quickly as I can so you can take a look beforehand and kind of, formalize your thoughts. And of course, we're going to hear public testimony as well. So we want to, keep our minds open for when we do hear that. And so, yeah, so just understand that when I do write this and I present it to you, this is not like an edict of this is how it's going to be. It's just me making a suggestion. So just so you understand that.
So I have a question.
Sure.
Because I don't want you doing I feel like you have already done all this work. And now you're saying you're going to do a bunch more work. Is it appropriate or acceptable to divide it up? And you say, Melinda, under government operations, you're going to take line item 2 through 200 or whatever. And then all that person's going to do is compare it to existing planks. And if there's I've seen there's maybe 2 or 3 that are super similar. And, I could take those 2 or 3 and condense it into one and then put that language in there for the committee to consider. Does that help you? Is it?
It could if you want to help with like maybe like one of the sections, like maybe government or let me think. But if you want to, I just I'm gonna be going through it all anyway, and I've kind of already gone through it all as I've looked at all the different ones. So I don't mind doing it. But yeah, if you wanna jump in and kind of look at your own, or if you guys wanna, kind of figure out how you would want it to be written. I don't know. It's up to y'all. Because I'm probably just gonna go through and do it all anyway.
I didn't know. Christine, I don't know if you wanted us to, if we have any suggestions on wording and stuff. I mean, should we just put it in? You want us to put it in that Word doc or that Google Doc, or what's the best? I mean, what's
Yeah, so actually that would be really good. So if there's one, let's do it this way. If there is one that you have a lot of knowledge about, like if there's like your pet issue, like for you, it was bond elections and paper ballots. Like if there is one that you really care about, go ahead and put in the comments, this is how I would like it to be worded.
Okay.
That would be great.
Okay.
So, pick some that, you really care about, you really know about, and just put in the comments, hey, I think it should be worded this way. That would actually be really helpful.
Okay. Okay.
So yeah, so let's do it that way. So just go ahead and put something in there and, be kind of how it should be worded. Because I think what I might do with the election section, because it seems a little bit, I love Andy and I think he did an incredible job last time, but I almost want to divide it up a little bit more as far as like, a plank on mail-in ballots, a plank on, kind of maybe not have the, A through whatever it is, G or something like that, in the platform, or maybe have some different sections, pull some of those sections out. That may be something that might be better. So that's why I'm kind of like, I'll do that part because I'm gonna group it a little bit differently, I think. Because I think we need a little bit more language about some of the other things. And so that may be a section that I just really kind of cut up. But I would be happy to have, input in different sections. So if there's one you're seeing that's open and you want to jump in and be like, hey, this is the language I think would be great here, please do.
Okay.
So, and Brian's gonna help with national defense. is, let's see. Oh, and also Micah, if you would of course, on the national defense stuff, you want to jump in and, put some things down there of what language you think, because that's while it is something that I very much care about, it's something that I haven't, been as involved in. So I would love, help in that area too, if, for y'all who want to jump into national defense and foreign affairs, I would love input. Let's see what else. What other questions do y'all have about the process? I know I heard like a call that was put on, and it was Galen Devine, and she was doing like a being how to get ready for the convention, and I just popped onto it, and the thing that she kept saying was pack your patience. Like, yes, for sure. Because I know that, things always go awry, things always, get changed, and that's fine. So, and I'm good with that. We just got to do what we do, and looking forward to it. And I really appreciate all of y'all. I know this is a heavier, I don't know, because everybody in previous they all had two committees that they were on. And this time it's really just us with two committees. So I don't know how all that's gonna work out, but we got this. I have faith in y'all. We're gonna be awesome. And yeah, so anything else? Go
I have a
ahead.
quick question. On the original sheet that had all the resolutions, there was an uncategorized section.
Yes.
Did you go through those, or if we see something that we think we might want to bring forward, should we just contact you?
So those got moved into a different spreadsheet that Rick Townsend, he's on the editing committee. And so he went into a different spreadsheet with those. I don't know if you got that one or not. But if you didn't, I can share that with you.
Okay.
And what they did is they used AI, I guess, to categorize them,
Okay.
which in some ways was helpful, but other ways was why I had to move a lot of stuff out of government operations.
Oh, gotcha.
So, and you know what, it took care of a big chunk of it, but there was still some more that needed to be sorted out. So yeah, so the new one has all of those in there.
Okay.
But and then I shared with you that kind of cleaned up version. So
Right.
what I did is I took the ones from the spreadsheet after it had run through AI, the ones that I had cleaned up, and then put them into that new spreadsheet, just so that it wouldn't be overwhelming with all of the different sections.
Okay.
So it'd be a little bit easier to look at since we already have a lot together. And kind of run through those. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, because the original one had the SDs and everything broken out, and so it's kind of like we kind of lost that with the AI one, and it's one of those like it's give and take, right? So, but Rick's doing a great job of getting the editors. Also, I think we're gonna have to. I have someone who is willing to serve as a secretary, but he can't do it the whole time. And I know they're still looking for some secretaries. Last I heard, I don't know. Everything I know is before we had the change with the chairman. So, is that they were still looking for secretaries for our groups. If you know of anybody who's planning on being there, from starting on Monday, who would like to serve as a secretary, let me know. That would be helpful. As I understand, they're looking for some more people. So just to let you know. And let's see what else. I think that's kind of what I was planning to go over, but any other questions or anything? Of how to
I have a
do it?
quick one, Christine.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm looking at the elections tab,
Yes,
It looks like you've had eyes on probably all of these.
yes.
Okay, so help us understand what you specifically want us to do. I want to help you, but I don't want to do work you've already done, and I don't want to step on your toes either. So, if you've already done elections, what can we do specifically to help you?
So, so for instance, like with Michael talking about bond elections, like, so if you go down to, so the plank that has bond elections is 218. So under elections, so the bonds create bondage is that like, he could go in there and say, this is what I think that this, in the comment section and put like, this is the wording that I think is the best wording for this plank. And then I could then take that and put it, into the one I'm creating. So like, like in the, so like in the comments, it would be, like, I think, like if he chose one of these planks, I think this wording is the best or something like that. Like, I think, the one from Collin County would probably be the one that he really likes. I'm just guessing. But, and then he could put in there, like, this is the best language, I think we should use this one. So like, if you see one, if there's like the particular ones that interest you, or that you know the most about, like if you want to put in there, like, I think this plank is the best, or I think this wording is the best, or, I think it should stay as it is. Just put in the comments what you think, and you don't have to do it for all of them. Just pick some that you care about and put it in there, for the comments.
Do you see the changes then, Christine, or do you want us to tag you or something? I just don't know what to do to make sure that you put a comment to. I just don't know what the best way is to make sure that you see it if we do that.
Yeah, I'll just I think you can. So I'll see it in there, but I think also when you make a comment, you can tag me
Okay.
and it'll let me know that you tagged me. So yeah, so go ahead and tag me when you do a comment.
Okay. And then I did notice, like, if you look at that one, like at the very top one, like the line 2, where
Yes.
it says like 24, it says the plank number, this column A is sometimes not, because it has like plank 218, but it's talking like the first one is talking about 212. And
Yeah, okay. Yeah, let me
are you
clarify.
doing that, or how is the best way to do that?
So 212, where it's talking in that particular cell, thank you for bringing this up,
Yeah.
is what the AI, I guess, put it into. What it says in the 2024 plank is what I changed it to.
Okay.
So
Okay.
basically, so like where I have the editing, like it'll say that this says like the new wording is new plank after plank 218.
Okay.
So that's what the new version is, and where it says 2022 plank, 2024 plank. So that way so ignore where it says amend plank 212 in the beginning of the resolved clause. I just didn't want to have to go in and delete every one from every row. And if one of y'all is super savvy on how to do that, go ahead. But I was just like, I just left it in there because just to save time. But yes, you are correct. Ignore the one that's in the beginning of that cell, and then and just go with what the left column that says 2024 plank says, or the editing one says. Yeah. Yeah, because that one would be a new plank, I think. Because yeah. So thank you for bringing that up. Because I was going through and I was just like, this is a lot. It's very different. And I also kind of left it there so you could see like where I guess the AI or someone else thought it was supposed to go. So if
Right.
you think it would actually go better there, let me know that too. But I think anything with the TEC, because it mostly deals with campaigns and campaign finance, that it would be better in elections. So let's see what else. Any other questions? And I will add, so I'll probably add some new ones after he does the sort at 9. There may be some that were in other sections that I did not see that need to be moved into our sections. So after he does that resort, so probably like first thing in the morning, I'll go in and see if there's any that we're missing, and I'll add them in. Just to see if there's anything that is not here. So because I didn't go through all of the entire platform. uh but I think but yeah, I would love y'all's inputs on some of these other ones. And let's see.
So
And
did we,
go ahead.
I don't know if we came to any kind of resolution then on like the grid stuff. Are we gonna keep some stuff in that's for the grid, and then just kind of just maybe have the large committee decide whether it's they split out or it just goes into one place or what?
Yeah, I mean, we could if y'all want to do it that way, or I can just put something out on. I'll send something to you, because what I'll probably do is I'll make it, but then I'll use your comments, and then we can kind of put them together, marry them together. So yeah.
Point 41 is on the grid.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And point 48 also. There's several.
Yeah. That's why I was like, yeah, if it's the grid, then there's already a lot on the grid, and we can just leave it with the grid. So, yes. And
it might be the
also,
resolution is basically a repeat with the exception of maybe one little something
yeah,
that could just be added to what we already have.
yes, I know. And the other thing, I moved a lot of the Sharia law stuff. I moved to, I think it's criminal.
State affairs.
State affairs. Thank you.
Yeah.
State affairs. Because it already talks about no foreign laws. So I was like, okay, but if it talks about a candidate, so here's a little bit of difference. So if it talks about a candidate signing an oath when they do their campaign filing that says that they will not support Sharia law, I left that in elections because it's a campaign filing issue, not just a Sharia law issue. So if something is, actually dealing with the candidate filing or something to do with the, candidacy or something like that, I left that in. So, but the ones I took out were the ones that were just strictly like ban Sharia law. I'm like, okay, well, that would go in state affairs. So, that was kind of like how it was. If it's actually, there are some things that are Sharia law that do need to stay in these sections, but if it's just ban Sharia law, that goes in state affairs. So, and again, I am open to, if y'all think something should stay wherever it was, or, that's fine. But, I'm open to that, but that was just my thinking on that. Let's see. And I also think one of the things I was looking at when I was looking at national defense is that we do have the beginning says Veterans Affairs, but then a lot of the things underneath it are not concerning veterans. So that might be something that we adjust a little bit. Maybe a new category or something like that under there was what I was looking at, because I was kind of like, well, these aren't really Veterans Affairs, but so that's another spot, to look at. And I wasn't really sure like where to put change ice to nice. I was like, I guess that would go under national defense. I don't know. I was kind of like, where does this go? But yeah, so some of these, it's still kind of like a, does this go here? Does this not go here? And we can, we'll discuss that when we meet. As far as we can kind of like vote on what goes where. Because some of these are a little bit ambiguous. And I was gonna say, but yeah, you're right. There's a lot of these, especially like taxpayer funded lobbying. There were like, I think, I don't know, there were at least a dozen of those, but they all had different wording. So it's kind of which one are you gonna go with? So, and okay. Any other questions? Comments, concerns? Okay, well, awesome. And I do want to, oh, and as far as the public testimony, I think it says it in the rules. If it doesn't, I will add it in there. So the idea be that, okay, I am gonna add this in there, that, so if somebody speaks about an issue, they can speak for that 2 minutes or 3 minutes. And then if they want to come back and speak about a different topic, they can, but they have to go to the back of the line. And then they can come back through again. And if they want to talk about a different topic, but they can only speak about that topic once. But they can, because there's a lot of topics in, election integrity, but we want to give time to everybody. So we want to make sure that they just go back to the back of the line when that happens. As far as I understand, last time there were clipboards that people would fill out so we could see who, what order people are in. I don't know if that's going to be digital this time or if it's going to be a clipboard. I don't know, but whatever method we're using, just to make sure that everybody gets a chance to speak.
So this committee will be hearing testimony on all three of those topics.
Yeah, so we'll be hearing testimony on the national defense and foreign affairs on Monday, and then we'll be hearing testimony on government operations and elections on Tuesday. So for anyone that might be watching, that's what we're going to do. So that we can kind of, keep them separate because it's a lot and we want people to know, like, if you're coming, if you want to speak about this issue, like this is what we're talking about today and this is what we're talking about tomorrow. And, in that way we can kind of finish our work on, national defense, Monday night, and then, open it up and do the work on election integrity on Tuesday. So unless there's some sort of rules, because of course we're going to meet as the full platform first, I believe, and then we'll have those rules. So I don't want to do anything that violates those rules, but so it's gonna be, we're kind of, this is what we're shooting for, but it's fluid. It could change. So be aware. I'm just trying to have some sort of structure so that we're not starting from scratch when we get there. So try and save some time. Okay. Anything else?
So you just want us working on that. So we won't meet again until Monday then? Is that
Correct. Yes. Yeah, and I'm planning to get there, earlier than 11 just to get there, get situated, figure out the schedule, figure out all the things, and because I'm sure there's going to be things that we're learning that morning, and so I'll be there before 11, but I'm probably like at, I don't know, 9 or 10. I'm not sure what time it's going to open, but I'm coming in Sunday night, so
Will you please let us know if there's something we can help you with between now and then?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, obviously, if there's, but like I said, with the, in the comments, if you have something that you want to go through, that's great. And otherwise, yes, absolutely, I will let you know.
And do you know, is there something, do we need to register or sign in or anything on Monday before we get
No,
started?
so from what I know from past times is that credentials is not there until I think Wednesday. I think it's Wednesday afternoon. So usually you don't like you're not actually signing in or whatever, but we will ask people when they get up to speak, like, okay, what Senate district are you from? Are you a delegate? Are you an alternate? All of that. So we will be asking them and that will go, on the record and all. But yeah, there won't be like official credentialing on Monday.
Okay.
So
I
it's
have
a
a
little
weird
bit more
question,
casual. Go ahead.
and I don't know if Michelle could answer it, or do we know if the party has beefed up security for this convention?
I don't know if Michelle can answer, but we did last
Um,
time we were in Houston. And I
We
think
have
go ahead.
we have ample security, particularly with the governor coming through. We had to order extra. So with the number of statewide elected officials that are coming in, we will have extra security on site. And we're striving to put a sergeant at arms in every committee meeting room.
Awesome.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. Okay. Anything else? Okay, awesome. Well, thanks, y'all. I really appreciate you coming on so we could, get a few things out of the way before we get there on Monday. And thank you very much for your time and for being willing to do this. I know it's a lot, and I just really appreciate your dedication and love for our party and our state.
Thank you, everybody. Have a good
Thank
night.
you, Christine.